while we were spending so much time at my parents', we knew this was coming, I decided I would do some handwork for my next project, and this is it. I'm afraid I haven't had a chance to show it in the process. Again, we were mostly down at my parents' house, but I was doing the little snowflakes. And then this is my winter but not Christmas quilt that will go where the Christmas quilt was by the door. And when I got the snowflakes done, and the back and everything, and I did all the stitching, it's like, oh, I loved doing this. So right now, currently, I'm still working on other snowflakes. I'm just really enjoying making those. Different designs that I'm trying to work on too, as well as my original design there. And I'm not sure what I will do with them. I'm thinking I might make ornaments out of them, or I may put them on another quilt. I'm not sure. Anyway, I just enjoy making them, and I think I'm going to keep working on those for handwork. They're nice and easy and portable, and it's interesting trying to come up with different designs, because of course snowflakes are supposed to be different, although mine aren't, some of them. So my dad's memorial service is over. Family is pretty much gone back home. And so now it's time to start getting life kind of back to normal. And so I am working on quilting again. I have my little winter but not Christmas quilt that was pieced and all ready to go. It's going to be quick to quilt. So as you can see, I have started. I've done free motion quilting around the snowflakes and around the letters. I'm now doing some straight line quilting, just kind of outlining the pieces. Again, I'm not a big quilt it to death person. I'm sure someone could do beautiful designs in here that would be amazing. I just kind of want the fabric to show. So I'm going to do that and see if I can get this done quickly. I am using some variegated thread that I found in my leftover stuff. Kind of curious what quilt I used it on, because I don't remember actually using it, but it's definitely a partially used spool of thread. I had some already wound on a bobbin that was partially used. It was kind of a light and darkish blue and kind of a purple. I thought it would be pretty on this quilt. It's not going to use up this thread by any means, but it will use more of it. Not sure what I will do with the rest of it, but find another blue and purple quilt to do, I guess, so I can use it up. Okay, I want to do this line. Oops. Be careful with that sequin. It's a little tricky doing my quilting around the snowflakes, just from the standpoint of my free motion foot was getting hung up on the knots that I did around the edge. So I was finding I was actually having to turn my quilt, which you don't normally do for free motion quilting, in different directions so that I didn't have the back of the foot trying to go around the snowflake. Come on, thread, pull up. There we go. So while I've been working on quilting the gnome quilt, or working on my winter but not Christmas quilt, I was also, you might have seen pieces of this occasionally. I was using this as a leader and ender project, which I've always liked the idea of, but I've never actually done. So I started with this one because it was just squares. This is actually fabric that I did buy on the trip too. And I was enjoying working on it. It was nice to do that, but at some point I was losing track of where pieces were going. So at some point I stopped using it as leaders and enders. It was too confusing, and I just, when I would have a few minutes, I would come and sew a couple things together. So that's what I've been doing this morning. I just kind of put the rest of it together. I do want to do something fun for the border. I have some fabrics I'm considering for border right down there. Not sure, I may do a curved border. It's one of the things that I've wanted to do but have never done. Or I might just do something simple. I'm not sure. I think it's a lovely quilt for spring, so it may go in the spot after the winter is done. Anyway, that's just something else I've been working on kind of on the side, and I thought you might like to see it. I can't remember if this is something I already mentioned, but when I do my binding, I like to lay it out and make sure that the seam where they're joined isn't going to end up at a corner or really close to the corner. This one has a join right there. I did 2 strips of this fabric and I have this much of an overlap. Now, I know they always tell you to have, 10 inches extra or whatever for binding, and I've always done that. I've never considered how much is the absolute minimum that you need. I kind of want to do an experiment, because my thought is if you have the width of your binding plus 1/2 inch for seams, that ought to be enough. If that's the case, I have 2 1/4 inch binding. Adding 1/2 inch would make that 2 3/4 inches, and I have basically 3 inches here. So I should have enough, I hope. I'm going to start doing the binding on this and pinning it, and we'll see how it's looking, because if I do need to add another strip, I'd probably rather do it down here and then put a smaller section in here to make that longer. I don't want to end up with a little tiny piece here and then have a seam and then another seam right together. So I'm going to try to get the binding on this and get it done, and then I can hang it up. Hadn't realized that the battery died, so I missed a lot of stuff that I would have otherwise been doing. I've got my binding stitched on. I'm doing it on machine, by machine totally, so I'm stitching it on the back. Now I've got it pulled over. And I'm going to use my little pair of scissors just to kind of help keep things where I want them. And I'm going to get this stitched down. So I got my little winter but not Christmas quilt done, and it's hanging up on our wall. Very exciting to get another project finished. I'm really hoping to get some other UFOs done this year, of course with the trip quilt first and the gnome quilt. Those will be the two things that I really need to work on, but I also have a bunch of other old projects that need done too, so looking forward to it.